Okay, well, today is a very exciting day because today I'm doing something for one of my favorite books. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. And it's called Pizza Rustica. It's on page 430. Now, a little history on this. When I was growing up, I remember around Easter time, you'd go to an Italian friend's house, and they weren't really Italian. Their parents were of Italian descent, and they used to call it Pizzagane, but they couldn't spell it. So I can't spell it. I can't look it up on the internet. But I've been getting ads in my feed now for something called either Pizza Rustica or Pizzagane, and they spell it G-A-I-N, which I don't know. I don't know if that's right. But I'm making Pizza Rustica, which is basically Pizzagane. And basically, it's an Italian meat pie. So what you see here is I've got some flour, I've got sugar, I've got some salt, butter, eggs, baking powder, and that's to make the dough. After I make the dough, so the dough is a sweet and savory dough. It's a luscious dough. Then after, and it's a pie dough. Right? Then after we make the dough, we're going to make the filling. And the filling consists of, you know what? Let me pause the camera and go get those ingredients. Okay, so the filling consists of some form of mozzarella. It consists of some form of some dry salami, some prosciutto, more butter, ricotta cheese, Romano cheese. That's the filling. And you know what? I have a little bit of mortadella laying in the fridge. I'm going to throw the mortadella in. Like, this salami isn't part of the Julia Child recipe. I'm throwing it in because it's a meat pie, right? And it's got some parsley too. It's freaking awesome. It's delicious. But you know what really irritates me? All these years, people would say the word Pizzagane. And, you know, again, they don't know how to spell it. They don't know how to say it. Nobody can tell you what's in it. You know, you got to go to your Nana's house and she makes it. Bullshit. You know what? Are you telling me I'm genetically incapable of following a recipe? Of course not. You know what it is? I think they're just too stupid to write it down. But Julia Child wrote it down and she got it from somebody and I'm making it and it's freaking awesome. And oh, by the way, I calculated the price of all the ingredients and I'm going to share that with you. And I'm going to share with you, you know, because if you buy a 5-pound bag of flour, you're not using that. You're just using 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to give you the net price of everything you purchase, how much it costs to make one of these. Because I see these on the internet for like $90 for one Pizzagane. And that's kind of crazy. But I'm going to give you the true price of what it cost me to make it. And then we're going to settle up. Alrighty, so what you see before you is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now what I'm dumping in is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/3 of a cup of sugar, okay? That's it. And I'm just going to give that a quick pulse to get it blended. Okay, now here comes the magic. You know, a lot of times I would do this by hand, but food processor makes life so much easier. And Julia's book gives you the opportunity to use a food processor or microwave when it's applicable, just to make life easier. You don't have to do it. You can still do things by hand, but I want to show you how easy this is. You know, this is essentially a pie dough. So this is 1 stick of butter that's going in to the 2 cups of flour with the salt, sugar, and baking powder. And I'm just going to pulse it a couple of times. And I want to show you what it looks like. Okay? Just by doing that, right? You see I've got discrete chunks of butter in there. And I'm going to pulse it a couple more times to get those chunks a little smaller. And then I'm going to incorporate the eggs, but I don't want to overmix it. Pulse, 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 pulse. That's it. Now I'm gonna beat these couple of eggs. I'm gonna add them gradually, and then we're gonna make a dough. Okay, so the eggs have been lightly beaten. And again, if you overwork the dough, it's no good. So I'm gonna do this as quick as I can. Turn it on. Dump the egg in. And as soon as that starts to pull away, and I have a dough forming, I'm shutting this thing down. Let's stop it and see what's going on. And that's it. Now, I'm gonna just let that rest a couple of minutes. And then I'm gonna knead it a little bit on my countertop here. And then that's it. I'm gonna put it in the fridge until it's time to put the dough into the pie crust. And then the next step is gonna be to make the wet ingredients, the filling. Okay, so there it is, the crumbles of the dough. I gotta say, you know, I really miss Julia Child, I do. I used to watch her on TV all the time. See how it's forming a dough? And I don't want to work it too hard. But again, and this is different because, you know, when I do my flaky pie crust, I do it all by hand and it looks a lot different than this. But this is a fantastic dough for this particular dish. So you see how I'm just working it a little bit? That's it. You don't want to work it too much. And now I'm going to wrap it in plastic. I'm going to throw it in the fridge until it's time to roll out the tart. Look at how nice that looks. Isn't that nice? Okay, let me go get a little plastic wrap and put that in the fridge and let it rest. Here it is. I'm putting it in the plastic. And I'm just going to throw that in the fridge and let it rest. And then when I roll it out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into two pieces. And one piece is going to be twice the size of the other piece. The bottom piece is going to be the lining of the pie. And then the top piece, you see I've got my fancy roller. I'm going to roll it out and then I'm going to make little nice strips and make a lattice crust out of it. You'll see. Okay, so what do we have here? We got the ingredients for the filling. I've got a little parsley on the side here. I've got some mozzarella, ricotta, a few eggs. This is my dry salami, a little mortadella that I just happen to have in the fridge, some Romano cheese, the prosciutto, and some black pepper. And you know, if I had any kind of other chunky cold cuts laying around, I'd probably throw them in. I might look and see if I have a little ham in the freezer, I don't know. But the gist of it is it's going to be all this meat inside of this cheese filling, inside of this sweet, savory pie dough, and it is just fantastic. So I'm going to start chopping all this stuff up, and I'm going to mix it up. I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so here you see I've got my 3 beaten eggs, and I'm going to throw into that the black pepper. That's about half a teaspoon, I'm sorry. A 1/4 cup of Romano. And I'm going to just stir that up. Okay. And now I'm going to throw in the parsley. The ricotta is coming soon. I'm going to throw in all this meat. Okay. Right, get that all mixed together. And this is a 1/4 pound of mozzarella. That's going in. Okay, so it looks like a nice little mixture. And now, here goes the ricotta. Now it says a pound of ricotta, but these companies, they only sell you 15 ounces. 15 ounces is just an ounce shy of a pound. So I'm not gonna go and buy 2 pounds of ricotta so that I could have my full 16 ounces. 15 ounces is fine. I'm just gonna mix that all together. And that is the filling. So I'm gonna blend it nice, but that's the filling from my pizza rustica, or as I heard so many times in my childhood, pizzaghini. They'd say it like that, pizzaghini. And you know, go ahead and Google that. You can't, right? I thought it was hilarious though, because I get these ads like in my feed. I don't know if Alexa's telling people what I'm talking about, because I didn't Google it, but somehow I'm getting in my feed pizzaghini, pizza rustica. I guess because Easter's coming, and you know, they see my last name is Romeo, and they figure, well, you know, here's a guinea bastard that wants to eat this. And they're charging $90 for one of these. And I promised you I'm going to get the price. And I'm doing this early so that I can get it on my website before Easter. So if you want to do it, you can do it too. So there's my filling. All right, stopping the video now. I'm going to clean all this up. I'm going to roll out that dough. Okay, the oven is preheating. And there is my dough. Where are my pastry knives? Here they are. Okay, and as I said, I'm going to cut this 2 pieces, and one side is going to be twice as big as the other. So that I'm going to put back in the plastic for right now. I'm going to try to form a disc out of this. And I'm actually going to roll it pretty thick. Let me get a little flour on top of that. Okay. I'm going to roll it pretty thick. You see how it's breaking up on the sides like that? That happens sometimes. I want to get a nice circle out of it. I want to leave it pretty thick because the crust is that nice, sweet, and savory. You know, the filling is very savory, right? It's got all that cheese and meats, and the crust is a little bit sweet, so it plays nicely with the filling. Okay, it's okay if it breaks a little because it's a very malleable dough. And see what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that piece off there and just smash it into there. Right? Take that little piece off there and smash it into there. Take that little piece off there and smash it into there. That's it. Isn't that nice? Okay. All right, and then I'll take a piece of the other piece of that dough and fill in these little gaps with it. That's all. That's all. The oven is preheating, and we'll be baking this very soon. Okay, so here we go. This is the top piece. And this is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to cut it into strips to make the lattice. I should put a little more flour on that. Oh, I could just turn it over, I guess, huh? Yep. Okay. Oops. Okay. I'm going to take a little piece of this and go fill in these little gaps here. It's like Play-Doh, right? Yeah, it is like Play-Doh, only it's sweet and savory Play-Doh. Okay. All right, so now that I've got this rolled out, we're going to cut it into strips. And those strips are going to form the lattice on top of the dough. Right? And I'm not professional here. You know, they're going to be a little bit uneven. It's okay. It's okay. Because I said so, right? Oops, that broke. That's okay, because I could always just roll it out again. Any little scraps of dough at the end of this, I could just roll it out and make a little more out of it. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to go get that filling. Ready? Okay, here's the filling. Oh, and listen to that. The oven is hot. It's ready. So as soon as I'm done assembling this, it's going right in. And I don't want to miss any of that. So I'm going to scrape it all in and then even it out. So I don't want any of this left behind. Okay, now let's just even it out. Let's see. Okay, and now let's take care of that lattice. Okay, so I'm going to take my longest piece and put it right across the middle in the top. All right, I'll take another piece, put it like that. And you know, I could weave them if I wanted, you know, over and under. You don't have to. Okay, and now this one goes across like this. This one like this. One here. Right, and then, like I said, I could have gone over and under with them if I wanted. You don't have to. Here's a short one that's going to go on this side. Another little one on that side. Maybe one here. Right, you get the idea. I just used it all up. There's that little bit. Let's see if I can make one last little strip out of it. Sticking to my bench because I need a little flour. Let's put a little flour down, shall we? Okay. And then we just cut a piece right out the middle there. And put it on the end. That's it. All right, like I said, I could have gone over and under and made it really professional looking, but you know what? It's going to look nice after it's baked no matter what. Now, I don't recall if I'm supposed to put an egg wash on this. I don't think so. But I'm going to double check that, and I'm going to tell you right now. No egg wash. Let's get a picture of that, shall we? picture. The reason why I put it on a baking sheet like this is just in case anything leaks out or any butter drips or anything, it doesn't go all over the oven. This is going into the oven at 375 degrees, and it's going to stay in there for, I don't know, probably 30, 40, 45 minutes, depends. We're going to see when it gets golden brown, that's when we know it's done. Okay, there it is, the baked pizza rustica, or pizza game. When it cools in a little bit, I'm going to cut a slice. You can see what it looks like in the middle. And then I'm going to post that recipe up on my website so you can get the full recipe and do it for your Easter dinner. Okay, there it is. Oh boy. Now, let's cut a little slice out of it, shall we? You can see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, take a look at that. Pizza Rustica, or Pizza Gain, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to get a taste of that right now. And I'll probably make another one before Easter. But like I said, I wanted to, holy shit, that crust is good. Wow.